Hi, I'm Bill Pearis, an editor at Brooklyn Vegan, and you are listening to BV Interviews, which features conversations with some of our favorite musicians. This week we've got Welsh indie rock legend, Super Furry Animals frontman, and one of my favorite musicians of all time, Rhys. He just released his 9th solo album, Dim Probs, which was also his first for Mogwai's rock action label. We discussed the bleak themes of the album and the Welsh DIY music that inspired it, his recent US tour celebrating the 10th anniversary of his album American Interior, missing the Oasis reunion shows in Cardiff, that time Super Furry Animals toured with Oasis 20 years ago, raves in the Welsh countryside, working with illustrator Pete Fowler for Dim Probs, and the merch opportunities with the album's artwork, plus 5 records he thinks everyone should own, and more. It should be noted that this interview happened before Super Furry Animals announced they were reforming for shows in 2026, and you can hear Gruff successfully dodge the question when I ask him if there were any reunion plans. Okay, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Rhys. I'm pleased to have Rhys on the show today. You might know him from Welsh indie superstars Super Furry Animals, and his 9th solo album is titled Dim Probs. Gruff, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're calling from Cardiff?
I'm calling from Cardiff in Wales. I'm just in from a show in Wolverhampton, one of the homes of glam rock. Quite excited about.
Did you break out a Slade cover or anything?
I should have. I played the cover of a Geraint Jarman song.
The filmmaker?
No, a Jarman variant. Geraint Jarman from Cardiff. He died this year, unfortunately. I was playing the opening act last night. Was a neighbour of mine who calls himself the Gentle Good. We did a Geraint Jarman cover as a kind of encore, a song called Tidraw Heno, from the glam rock era.
As I was saying before, sort of off microphone before, we've been in each other's orbit for maybe like the last 10 years. I actually got to open for you in Brooklyn, do a DJ set, which was one of the great thrills of my life. But I've never actually interviewed you before. And as I said, I'm happy to be doing it on an album where I can't pronounce any of the song titles.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can help you out.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help.
Dim Probs, it's your 9th solo album, and that's as many as you've made with Super Furry Animals. Does that have any significance to you?
Yeah, it's a good statistic. 9 albums is a good number because the photos of the sleeves all fit into a square.
That's true.
So it's a good number to achieve visually. Yeah, I'm amazed. I've been allowed to make 9 of them.
This one's also your first for Mogwai's rock action label, right?
Yeah. Initially, it was a record I recorded quite briskly, and I was thinking of just self-releasing it. It's quite a raw album. In very last minute, I mentioned to Mogwai what I was doing, and they offered to release it, and they're much more organised than I am, and they have people working at the label, and they've been really great, really supportive, and which made it a really nice experience, you know. So I hope I don't bankrupt them or cause them any shame. So
is this just a one-off then?
I think so. I don't know. We haven't even discussed it, but they just happy to put it out. They've always encouraged my Welsh language music. I did a track with them, 25 years ago or something, on the album called Rock Action, and they were encouraging me to sing in Welsh 25 years ago, so it's something they're really into. It's been really great. I think Stewart's mum is a Gaelic speaker, a kind of sister language to the Welsh language.
Are you a free agent now, label-wise?
Yeah, technically I'm a free agent, but I'm very close to Rough Trade. They've picked up my Turnstile back catalogue. Those records, I think those contracts were for a decade. They were up, so I think Rough Trade are going to
reissue them?
Reissuing my records. They reissued American Interior this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I did some touring for that, and then I've done so many records with them, and I definitely feel part of that family, And it's been really great getting to work with Mogwai as well, who I've known for almost 30 years or something surreal.
I'm trying to think, am I misremembering? Did you play a show with Mogwai at Bowery Ballroom? Maybe in like 98 or 99?
I don't think so. I don't know if I did any American shows.
With the Super Furry Animals, I meant like...
Unless it was some kind of CMJ thing where there was multiple bands.
I might be misremembering.
But we played together some, and I've had some great adventures singing with them in, Iceland and remote Scottish islands. And
okay.
We did a memorable show in Mid Wales, in sort of rural Mid Wales, once, a Mogwai Super Furry combination to like 2,000 people in a big shed.
Like a destination show, like somewhere where nobody really lived, but everybody had to go there for the show.
Yeah, people came on buses, and the capacity was probably bigger than the town itself.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose there used to be a network of these kind of pavilions when I was growing up. I'd go to see Welsh language bands in these kind of huge rural pavilions. Someone at school would hire a bus, and you'd get like 50 kids going to catch a show, and in the bus and driving for 2 or 3 hours, and with cans of beer, and it was good times.
It almost sounds like a rave or something like that.
Yeah, it was sort of pre-raving, I suppose, that the kind of very politicized Welsh language scene. So when we played there with Mogwai, it was like a throwback to those events.
I see.
But a lot of the rural raves were outdoor. People would take over old industrial quarry shafts, or even, break into a golf course, and have a rave on the 18th hole or something.
Uh-huh.
So there's, a few memorable raves in North Wales.
So your new album, it was partially inspired by, at least according to the press release, by you curating some Welsh private press synth records. I hear a little bit of that. How did that actually like go into the creative making of Dim Probs?
I was listening to a lot of homemade music in the Welsh language from the 1980s with my friend Hugh Evans, who calls himself H. O'Clain. We started collecting this stuff, inspired by Andy Votel and Welsh rare beat, and digging into the 1970s catalogue of Welsh language music. And there were people like Smiling Sea Records in Santa Cruz and Music Plastique in Portland. They were reissuing some Welsh language music from that era and putting mixes up on NTS. So I was looking for files of this stuff. So over the past few years, I've just been listening intensely to all this stuff, and there's collectors here in Cardiff like Don Leisure and Swap Records with, and I think there was a kind of electronic scene, a kind of post-punk electronic scene,
right,
of very raw homemade cassettes. I was just listening hard to the stuff from the Oven label, OFN, Neon was another label, and there was a post-punk label called Andrem. A lot of politicized kind of Cold War era music, so that the mood is very ominous and quite grim. But my background is in melodic pop songs, so I've been also listening to a lot of 1970s singer-songwriters like Enda Emlyn, who's spelled ENDAF, then EMLYN. He made a lot of his records in his kitchen on a 4-track tape machine. So I was very inspired by his sense of melody as well. So strangely, this Welsh language record is directly influenced by a lot of Welsh language music as well, of all sorts.
There are some synthesizers on here, but you're primarily still writing on guitar, right?
Yeah, I wrote the whole record on my old Spanish guitar. It's an old catalog guitar made in Sweden in the 1970s. It's a bit brittle by now. I've played it a lot, but it's quite a warm sound, and I was sticking it through some effects. I thought maybe I had enough songs for a me and a guitar album, but once I started recording them, I was using a 1970s Japanese drum machine, and that suggested, adding a drone. I allowed myself a synth drone, and then next thing I'm adding maybe just one electric guitar is acceptable, and then some songs stick to that, but
you've got a horn section on a couple songs.
I just couldn't resist, I mean, I've been playing with a group of musicians for a good few years now, including Cliff Skirlock on drums. I got Cliff in to play on about 4 songs, and then my friend Osian Gwynedd, who's a great pianist, he came for 1 song. Gavin Fitzjohn on brass on a couple of songs. Hugh V. Williams, a double bass player, on a couple. And then I felt I needed some backing vocals by other people, so I went to see Kate LeBon and H.R. Klein, and we had a very informal recording session and a cup of tea. They put down some backing vocals on a couple of tracks,
right,
including a laughing fit, which I kept because it was beautiful. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it was really nice to make tracks with them. We're old friends,
You've known them for a long time, and Kate was on your Neon album, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, she came on tour as well. She was the bass player. We kept thinking of vocalists, and I knew Kate had a sense of understatement that a lot of people don't have,
Now she's a producer to the stars.
Yeah, well, she's a good producer to the stars. She's very good at making extremely tough decisions. She's extremely thorough with her own work as well. She goes deeper than most people. She'll push it further and further into originality than most people can dream of going, I think.
And H. Hochlein, he worked on the record, right? I was looking at the credits on Tidal, and it looks like he was like an engineer on songs, or at least that's how he's listed.
He sings backing vocals with Kate on 2 tracks, on the opening track and the Chwyn Chwyldradol side 2 opener. I think he's technically either him or Kate LeBon was the engineer.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Kate set up the microphone and Hugh pressed play or something. And maybe I made the tea or something. But they both know their way around a desk and the microphone.
Right. The songs are very much in your style, your signature style, and poppy with nice choruses. But lyrically, at least the translated lyrics that I've read are pretty dark. I would call it. There's like a ominous feeling to the record, like you're seeing the chaos in the world and like trying to translate it or figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I recorded it in the summer of 2024. For the most part, I'd finished writing the lyrics and I was starting to record the vocals. It was a combination of I was listening to a lot of very bleak music, and also, I was listening to music made during the Cold War. It feels like we're in a world at war with itself, and I was in a particularly bleak place. It's reflected on the record. I don't know why, and I feel weirdly, although it's a pretty terrible time, I feel some sense of optimism at the moment that I didn't have making the record. There's a sense of noir, like cinematic noir. Maybe songs like track 4, Tarot 1 and 2 is quite a claustrophobic sounding tune. Maybe it's alleviated a little bit with the title. The title is Dim Probs, which is a kind of slang Wenglish. It's not Welsh or English, but dim means no, and probs so it's like no probs. But obviously, there's plenty of probs to go around.
The tarot and the title track both have some of my favorite of your the more electric lead playing on it. Very atmospheric and unlike anything I think I've heard you do before.
Yeah, I was recording with the engineer Ali Chant in Bristol, and it's just about an hour away, so I could go over to his place and record things extremely fast, and then I was building them up gradually, and then I'd bring the recordings home and listen to them and figure out how to proceed. Some things I left alone, some things I developed a bit more. And Ali's background is in guitars. He's recorded records for PJ Harvey and Dry Cleaning and people like that. And
Yard Act, maybe?
Yard Act. I think he's engineered some Aldous Harding records, but he's so great with the guitars technically, and he has a large collection of them, so I could try out guitars that I don't have at home. I had a couple of pedals to achieve the right phasing. I was looking for, he'd suggest some of the tool to make it even brighter, and his contribution was let it be much more of a guitar record. He kind of knew how we should proceed.
As far as the bleak themes on the record, you say you feel like you're in a better place now. What do you do to decompress when you're, we're all dealing with these things that are going on in the world, all this craziness, this chaos. What do you do to, when you let off steam or go to a more tranquil, better place?
Yeah, well, for example, I could walk to the closest football ground is really close. I can walk there. It's not a peaceful place. There's maybe 30,000 people swearing in unison. But it is a total break, and they're doing something I genuinely have no understanding or talent at, and I see magic in it. And so that, those kinds of things that are kind of just a complete escape,
Earlier this year, you did a 10th anniversary tour for American Interior over here in America. How did you find that experience? That's sort of your first looking back type thing you've done.
Yeah, that project was unusual for me because it involved, writing a book about someone, the cartographer John Evans, and he had an almost unbelievable journey through America between 1792 and 1799. Over a decade previously, I'd asked my American booking agent, I showed him a map of America with John Evans's journey. He lived with multiple First Nation tribes and had a really, at the heights of their civilization, and it had a really incredible experience, and he was changing his identity, multiple times, and died in New Orleans at the age of 29. So my booking agent had booked a tour along the journey John Evans took, and I made a documentary and an album playing that tour. And so, yeah, it was reviving it 10 years later. The world has changed a lot, and I have changed a lot, and I had to look at my own work through a different lens. And it was really great. I loved reconnecting with it and changing my opinions of some aspects of it, decolonizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
The audiences were really open-minded. It's essentially a kind of slideshow.
Right.
And a historic slideshow with songs. I play music in nightclubs, a lot of the time, and it's really nice to be able to engage my brain in something now and again.
On that note of looking back, it feels like so many bands from the Super Furry Animals original era are back in action. I mean, Oasis, of course, Pulp, Stereolab, the Beta Band are about to have their first tour in 20 years. Next year is the 30th anniversary of Fuzzy Logic. Are you guys entertaining any ideas of ever playing again, Super Furry Animals?
We get offers every couple of years, and we're an active WhatsApp group, if not a performing group. We'd make reissues together, and so communication is good. And we haven't played for a decade, I don't think.
Yeah,
but that was a really positive experience, because I suppose the hardest thing about being in a band, and the Super Furry is a really good chemistry. The sort of minute decision making that bands have to do seemingly multiple times a day is kind of extremely hard. What was nice about touring things from the past was all the decisions had been made, there's no tension. It would be nice, we're all active in music and enjoying, I'm happy. I don't know, the terminology over here is happy like a pig in shit.
We have that too.
Oh yeah, maybe it's American, I don't know. But when I'm recording my own stuff, it's a really happy place. So I'm sure we'll do things,
Oh, good. And they're obviously all like still playing together as Das Coolies, so.
Yeah, there's a Das Coolies record came out fairly recently, the second album, and then Gitzo's band Gulps, Gitzo and Lindsay Leven. But what's extremely significant about the new Gulp record from a Super Furry perspective is that Gitzo sings a song, and it's mind-blowing because we always, for some reason, it was a red line for him in the band, and we always thought, I'm sure he can sing. We were all confident, that he was doing it because he was too good or something. But it turned out that's the case. He sounds like John Cale or something. He's got a fantastic voice. I was speaking to the engineer and he was saying he didn't touch any tuning software or anything, that the guy who mixed it, he was saying he just put the vocal up and it was perfect.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
So that's, everyone should check out that whole album. That was the most exciting moment in music for me. I think, was hearing Gitzo's voice for the first time as a singer.
As a singer. You never even heard him do karaoke or anything?
Well, we have done karaoke often, but he's somewhere in the, Lee Hazelwood kind of register, but has John Cale's accent because he's from South Wales.
Speaking of Oasis, did you go to either of the Cardiff shows that kicked off the tour?
No, weirdly, I was booked to play a solo show in the Isle of Man. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've never been. I've heard of it.
Yes, like an island between in the Irish Sea, between Ireland and Scotland and England and Wales. And it's in an independent country somehow. But I had to fly in. They insisted I go the day before in case there was a storm. So I had to leave Cardiff the day of the first Oasis show. So it was a bit like the 1960s, Slayer had played a huge show in Cardiff the night before, and there was 30,000 Slayer fans in denims and leathers leaving Cardiff at the same time as 90,000 Oasis fans were coming into the city in kind of leisure wear, and I thought it was an opportunity for like a Mods v Rockers style battle. But it didn't happen. Everyone was the Slayer fans were elated. The Oasis fans were in really high spirits. It was beautiful. The weather was great. It was like a big party. And I think it was really positive for the city. I think a lot of people start their tours here because they can shut the roof on the stadium, rehearse for a few days.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I missed it. I was on the Isle of Man.
But you, Super Furry Animals toured a little bit with Oasis in like 2005, is that right?
Yeah, because we were label mates on Creation, so we'd run into them around that time, and then we almost played with them a few times, but something fell through, and then eventually we opened up for them on a stadium tour. We did a few shows with them. I went to, the Nepworth show and things like that. I feel I've been to quite a few good ones.
Yeah.
They were always super nice, it felt really well looked after, and with Noel as well.
Right.
Solo, and always been just a really positive vibe from them, really.
I went to the first New York show last week, and I hadn't seen them since 95, when they played Roseland Ballroom here, which is like a 3,000 capacity place. But they made so much more sense in a stadium to me than they ever did in a small club.
Yeah. Those kind of mass sing-alongs. I remember them doing Wonderwall at a Cardiff show when the record first came out, and it was the first time I'd seen a band not needing to sing at all, where they just played the chords and the audience sang. It was wild, you know. So.
Speaking of New York, I was thinking next year, not only is it the anniversary of Fuzzy Logic, I think those were your first shows here. It was like CMJ 2006. You guys played with Heavy Stereo and Three Colors Red, maybe? It was all Creation lineup?
Yeah, in 1996, the Mercury Lounge. Yeah, that was in 96. And then we didn't come back for 2 years. I think we came again in 98 and played with Gorky's Aquatic Monkey.
At Knitting Factory.
Yeah. And then we started touring then. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back for Dim Props early November or something like that. I'm going to bring my guitar. I think I'm only doing 3 or 4 shows or something.
Kind of excited for the merch for this show because I love the album art. First thing you've done with Pete Fowler in a few years, right?
Yeah. Pete's had this motif, you know, for the previous few months. He kept drawing an old dog on a magic carpet. So I asked if I could borrow one of his drawings for the sleeve.
I thought it was a beach towel that the dog was laying on, and that gave me the idea. You should make a beach towel with that dog on it. I would buy 2.
I'll do it. I'll get on the phone immediately. Yeah, it'd be a beauty, I think. Beach towel. Yeah, seriously. I'll bring one to New York. But it's been lovely working with Pete on it. He's made a few drawings for with his felt pens. I think we were trying to make the least AI album cover imaginable.
That's great.
That was our thing, I think.
Gruff, I think that's just about it for this podcast. We have one question we always throw at our interviewees. Off the top of the head question, can you name 5 albums that you think everyone should own?
Gorky's Aquatic Monkey, Barafundle, Velvet Underground 3rd record, Michael Rother, I can't pronounce the name of it. It's something like Flaubarten Herzen or something. I can see it in my mind, but I don't know how to speak German. Do you know the one I mean? It's like got an orange cover.
I don't. I have the Noy records, but not his solo stuff. So
it's got it's him and the drummer from Cannes.
Okay,
it's like a total dream team, you know, fantasy album. It sounds like uplifting sports montage music.
Okay,
like super optimistic and. Wow. Nico, Chelsea Girl.
Okay.
And maybe the first Tribe Called Quest album with an extremely long title.
People's Instinctive Travels, something.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Gorky's, it's nice because that Barafundle actually got reissued this year for Record Store Day.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I don't know if the band knew even, but I don't know. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Actually, I'll have to get a copy.
That was the only thing that I wanted to find at Record Store Day this year, and I was very happy to pick it up.
Ah, amazing! All those records should be everywhere. The Gorky's albums.
It's funny when I DJ'd your show at Union Pool, I tried to put together a very specific playlist that I thought would maybe appeal to people who were going to your show. This girl comes up to me midway through my set, like excited. She's like, "Dude, Gorky's Psychotic Monkey into the High Llamas? You're fucking killing it." Which is a phrase that I don't think has ever been said in the world before.
Amazing. Yeah. In that context, it's beautiful. I remember the raincoats as well. I was completely jet lagged. I think I was in some strange dream world, but it was a beautiful soundtrack to it.
Yeah, it was very fun. All right, Gruff, I'm going to let you go. Is there anything else we should know before we let you go?
We made it through. I was thinking of something, but I mean, that's so much anyway. But thank you so much.
Thanks again to Gruff Rhys for being on this week's show. His new album, Dim Probs, is out now, and let's hope Super Furry Animals bring their reunion tour to North America in 2026. Meanwhile, you should check out our other podcast, BV Weekly, where my coworkers Dave and Andrew discuss the week's hot button music news, the latest releases, and more. You can also follow Brooklyn Vegan on social media, and if you like this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, write us a review, give us 5 stars, and tell your friends about it. Big thanks to our mix engineer Nick Gray and Michael Silverstein for the theme music. I'm Bill Pearis. Thanks for listening.